There we go. I had myself muted. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I mean, what kind of a streamer am I? Oh, hello folks. Thank you, Tej, for the raid. I appreciate it a lot. That's very I kind of asked for it, but I've been wanting to get a raid from Tej so that I can like just feel, you know, like feel like I've earned that badge. And you know what? You know what? I'm gonna say something. Tej owes it to me, okay? I've helped him do so much Laravel code, okay? The least he can do is give me a raid. Okay, I think I've earned it in stripes. Let me get my camera right. Yeah. Camera's not right, damn it. There. Something like that. Anyways, okay. Sorry, folks. Anyways. More like I owe him now. Listen, I'm going to change his life with Laravel. He's going to create this amazing tool and he's going to make so much money. We're going to ride our Lambos together. You're going to see Tej and I in Lambos riding around all over North America. Okay? And we're actually what we're going to do is we're going to have a big trailer truck full of Lambos and we're going to hire somebody to drive the trailer truck, and it's going to be glass walls in the trailer so you can see all the Lambos, and we're just going to ride around in Lambos doing Laravel. And that's going to be streams going forward. You're welcome, Tej. You're welcome. Thank you for the raid. Okay, so that's how it's going to be. How long does a Power Wheels battery last? Listen, Ryan, go back to New Brunswick, okay? Nobody wants you here in Twitch, California. Okay? Listen, jeez. Jeez. Listen, everyone, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I kind of did this last minute because the stars just kind of aligned to do it. And then Tej was finishing up, and I just thought I'd take advantage and see if I can, you know, get some ZIG video game stuff in, since we all seem to be like, whoa, Ryan! 5 subs. Thank you, man. Thank you. That's very kind of you. But now you can go back to New Brunswick, okay? Now you can go back there. You've done a kind thing, but you should go back to New Brunswick. Here, let me get my microphone just right here. All right. So for everybody who is here, again, much appreciated. I thought what I would do is just spend a little bit of time talking about some stuff I did with my video game and ZIG and WebAssembly, because I did some stuff. Peeps. What I did, let's see if I've got this right. I've been meaning to clean up a bunch of my WebAssembly code in ZIG, and I thought, you know, it's probably going to be like a pretty like crappy, boring stream if I clean up this code while I'm on stream. I don't think anybody wants me to do cleanup code. Who wants to watch the janitor? You know, I mean, as a plumber, that kind of makes sense, but like, do you actually want to see that? No. So I cleaned a whole bunch of stuff up. And if you happen to have watched my streams in the past, I had a lot of junk code in here. It was like a whole bunch of functions that did a whole bunch of stuff. Yes, Mitchie, it's not Laravel, okay? I do Laravel as my main job. I try to do something, you know, different here, okay? If you really want me to do Laravel, I will pull up some Laravel code like lickety split. You say the word and you will get more Laravel than you know what to do with. Is that what you want? You know what, Mitchie? I'll give you a second. You can answer in chat. I will sit here and watch right now. Let's go, Richie. What do you want? What do you want? Laravel is my day job too. That's not an answer, Mitchie. Do you want Laravel? Tell me. Just because I said lickety split, just troll. Okay, well, Mitchie says no. Okay, but just because you guys are in a trolling mood, okay, I will show you. Let's see, what's my server for my, I think it's this one. I have the password. Oh yeah, I got the password. First try password. So you're all going to get to see some Laravel. Okay. Check this out. Look at this Laravel. Look at this Laravel. It's pretty. Look, I even have a private key here. You guys want to see the private key? No, I'm not going to show you that. Look, I have a lot going on. I have a lot going on. Look at this. Huh? Look at this. So I've got, we've got a whole bunch of models, and there's a lot of, I have some janitor work to do on this code as well. It's pretty bad. Look at this terrible structure. Look at this terrible structure. This needs to be cleaned up a lot. And just so that you know, let me look at my git ignore, okay? McCheesy, I'll show you. .env ignored. .env backup ignored. Because you want to know something funny? Do you want to know something funny? Do you want to know why I have env backup in the damn git ignore? Because when I first joined this company, somebody thought it was a great idea to back up their local .env file. Sure. And then they decided, hey, let's commit all our keys. So, you know, here I come, janitor mode, and I have to clean up, I have to put this stupid git ignore in here. Oh man, that was really, I think somewhere in the history, somewhere in our git history, thankfully it's private, there is a env backup with git keys, and hopefully it's so outdated. Anyways, so yeah. So, I mean, this project also has HTMX. So if you want to see some HTMX in here, I'll show you some HTMX. Do you want to see something cool with like what we're doing with HTMX? Here. Where did it go? Public, I think? Yeah. So, okay, first of all, okay, there is no build. 0 builds. I do not have to run an npm command. I don't have to run webpack, even though I have it here for like outliers on our code. I don't have to do nothing. All I gotta do is just update. Where the heck is it? Is it in here? Here we go. Nice. All I have to do is update code and reload the page. That's it. And you can see we've got some hyperscript code. There's some hyperscript code in here to handle our checkboxes because we have some custom checkbox functionality. HTMX loads up, you know, a fragment of a page, and I can even like, I can show you, let's just pull a fragment from anywhere. Sure, like here, okay? Right here. Here's a fragment, right? And when we do a, like any kind of call, like here's some HTMX code right here. When we do a call, we're going to ask for the fragment, right? So we even have fragments equals pagination. So somewhere on here is a pagination fragment. Let's see, right down here. That's it. HTMX, PHP, controllers, views. Yes, Mitchie. I'd rather build stuff than fight with a transpiler, but this is it. There's no live wire. There's nothing. So then I have a, I'll show you here. I'm using whoops. Let's just go read only in case I don't screw it up. So then all I have in here is where are the fragments? Here we go, fragments. So literally I define what fragments I want my HTMX request to pull as a query parameter. So I can build an entire page by itself and define the fragments, and then I can have HTMX say, when you go make a call, also pull in these fragments as part of the page, and my base action here knows how to call the fragments. It will literally just return fragments, and it will just pull in, at the end. Let me see if I can view fragments. You see this guy right here? Just if there are any fragments as part of the request, you just pull in the fragments. Otherwise, you pull in the whole view. Super, super simple. In like a few lines of code, I get my fragments, I get my, partials, I get HTMX, I get hyperscript on top of that, and then I can define how my code returns, like how Laravel returns it, which is like, it's been a game changer. So the one thing we've done is like, we have a messaging portion. It's a very simple, like back and forth messaging. We created the messaging portion as its own page. It has its own root. I don't want to show the roots. I think that might be too bad for, on stream, but we have a root that's just like /messages, and it's the entire page with fragments. So you can actually just view the messages as its own page. But then what we've done is we have like a messaging icon on all pages. And when you click on it, it does like a drop down, like a little menu system. And it's literally just that page, HTMX fragmented as part of that UI. If you ever happen to turn off JavaScript at any point, or you get in a weird state, everything is URL states, which means all that's going to happen is you're going to click like the back or whatever button or open up a URL, and it's going to load up that as a page. It's just going to do a back-end rendering, no JavaScript required. So it's almost like a pre-hydrated thing already, but if you don't have JavaScript turned on, it's there. So yeah, let me just catch up. Big brain time. Yeah, Livewire. Yes, heck, not gonna lie, I do not miss front-end development even a little bit. Yeah, Mitch. So Mitchy, I think if you were to do something like what I'm doing, you'd go back to liking front-end development if it were like this, because this is a lot simpler. Like in here, we're doing a whole lot. Hey, thanks, McCheesy. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it a lot. Thanks for being here. And to anybody else who needs to drop out or whatever, it's awesome. Yeah, you too. Have a great holiday. Yeah, so like this is really nice because all we're doing is like really simple stuff. I'll even go one step further here, right? So here we have hyperscript, right? So we're defining a behavior for a checkbox, and then what we're doing is we're installing that behavior. I'll show you. Install a checkbox. We're literally going to anywhere we want the checkbox to like that behavior to run in hyperscript, and we just do this one-liner, install checkbox, right? And then all that hyperscript runs. I mean, like that's pretty cool, right? It's so easy, it's so simple to do this stuff. And because we've customized the checkbox, we can do all kinds of custom stuff here with hyperscript, and it's all just in its own hyperscript file. Somebody needs to write an LSP for hyperscript though, in NeoVim. Mitch, I wouldn't even say I don't like it. I don't miss it. Yeah, maybe I like this. I kind of feel like you might, Mitch. Mixed nuts. For me, front end sucks because of UI. I'm not a designer, and it shows. I'm not a front end designer either. On my team, we have someone who does front end design for this and takes that responsibility off of me, and that's really nice. I can design landing page. I don't even want to. That's what Vercel's for, boys. Okay. So I'll go one step further here. I'm going to show you something else that we're doing. Let's go like this. Oops, no. I shouldn't have done that. Where's a good one? Where's a good one? Let me go back to hyperscript LSP writing. I'm seriously considering it because it's missing. I mean, look at that. And even if I set, what is it? Set file type, I think. JavaScript, I'm pretty sure. It's not great, right? Like it doesn't quite cover it. Hyperscript is kind of its own thing. So here, let's have some sex. Okay, let's have some sex here. What's our CSS like? Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's the thing is I don't even know if there's a tree sitter grammar. Yeah. It irks me a lot, judging from how Tej does it. It isn't that complex. Yeah, I think I might need to write one for NeoVim, or like even just Vim in general. No, no, I didn't. I screwed that up. Need more sex. More sex. Here. So here we have our, like, we're just importing some CSS files. Okay, so far pretty simple. And then if I go global here, we literally just have some handwritten CSS, and we didn't pull in everything from Tailwind. These are just what we're using. That's it. Just what we're using. Pretty straightforward. And then if I go deeper, let's say the checkbox. Wait, what did I do? How did I screw this up? Oh, I know why. There we go. That's it. It's just some handwritten, CSS. And then just to bring this home, variables. Let's say colors. Literally, we're using CSS variables for everything, right? So when you need to make a big change here, you're just, we even have our media queries as our CSS variables, and this is really nice because you can do things like, I wonder if we have one. Let's see. Media. Let me see if I can find a good example for you. No. Yes, here. Okay, check this out. All right. Here's what we're doing with CSS media variables. We're literally describing in our CSS variables the different breakpoints of our view. And CSS has this cool thing where you can do basically if else with like default values. So we're literally describing a CSS variable that says if our media is greater than or equal to large, then this will basically be like a false, move on to the next one. Otherwise, like stay, or I might have flipped that around. And then when we actually set the display, we're using one line display call, and we're saying if we have greater than or equal to large in terms of our view, then we want to use whatever the value is of this guy, which is none. So essentially this hides it. This is the mobile class. So we hide anything that has mobile in large media query mode. If it's not, then we set our display to block, which means it shows, because then you're at less than large, which means we want to show mobile. No build, zero build. And anytime we need to make a change, we can make really like minute changes, whether it's CSS, hyperscript, HTMX, our Laravel fragments, whatever, and keep our PRs very localized. We can deploy to prod at any time. Like, this is the way, man. This is how you do Laravel, in my opinion. No live wire. You're in full control, and there are times when you do need to get into some JavaScript. Let me see if I can find one. What would be a good one? Multi-select, maybe? Yeah. When you need to get into some JavaScript with hyperscript, like when hyperscript for some reason just doesn't quite cut it. And honestly, when I reviewed the PR for this guy, it's a lot. I didn't really like it. We're going to have to clean this up, but we could have done like 99% of this in hyperscript. But this is just an example. You can see here, we can literally just say in our hyperscript, run some JavaScript, because this was too complex to do in pure hyperscript. Right now, if I do set file type equals. Also, I saw Nate Codes here. Nate Codes, hey man, how are you doing? There we go. So you can see that this is just straight up JavaScript. The file type actually works. NeoVim actually, like, you know, does its LSP tree sitter stuff. So yeah, like this has been a game changer. Oh, Nate, thank you, man. You were here before the raid. Well, you caught me at a good time. The stars aligned. I appreciate you being here, Nate, man. I hope you're doing well. Anyways, my point is, I think if for all the raiders from Tej, if you have been watching how Tej uses Laravel and what he's doing with his NeoVim plugin and how he's doing his photo system, you can see that there's already, just with Laravel alone, just with like the PHP stuff, there's already some benefits, some bonuses, some awesome power behind Laravel itself. Add in HTMX and HyperScript, and add in really basic CSS where you're in control. This is quite doable. You want to know what my team size is? 3, including me. You want to know how many people we're serving daily? Daily, probably a few thousand at least, maybe more. The company itself, I don't want to say exactly what the company is and how much it makes exactly, but I mean, we're in like the multi-million range. We have contracts like out the butt. So a team of 3, including myself, managing all of this stuff, because this is simple and super powerful. Nate, I love how it feels like you're doing no build better than I don't know if I'm doing no build better than DHH, but I kind of feel like I am. I love your base action. The fragment stuff in particular is quite clever. Thank you. Yeah, that took a while to figure out. I had to play around with it a bit, but I love this too, because all I have to do is set up my fragments, and because Laravel already has the view functionality to understand if you just pass it 1 or more fragments, it will just automatically do that for you. This is super easy. And then if you don't have a fragments parameter, just return the entire damn view, right? So freaking easy. Then what you can do is stuff like fragments. Let me see if I can do this. And one of my views, you can have what I'm about to show, if I can find a good example, is literally views that contain, yeah, here we go. Look, you can have basic forms, okay? Basic forms. You boost them. You give them a little jump with HTMX, okay? And you pass in your fragments as hidden input values. So you can have a perfectly normal form, and HTMX will submit it for you as like an AJAX request. It will automatically append your fragments that you want that request to return, and it will swap appropriately with just the fragments you want. Like there's some insane power in here, okay? There's some insane power. So, I mean, if anybody is like serious and actually wants me to build something like this, but like for a project I can actually like fully show, I'll do it. Maybe it'll help. Maybe like Tej and I can like coordinate on a project. But I feel like Tej already has his project, and I would kind of be leapfrogging ahead of him just in terms of this. And I don't want to derail him. I want him to focus. So, you know, I don't know. It might not be a good for cooperation one, but I'd be happy to do a separate project with like this stuff and show how to put it together. I'm also going to be talking about this in early January, because I may or may not have Carson Gross, the creator of HTMX and HyperScript, coming on for an interview. Maybe. You know, so on top of Primogen saying he'll come on soon, you know, I can't confirm or deny, but Carson might come on. Just, you know, I might have somebody else who's interested. probably one of the biggest players in the space here, and on Twitch at least. And you know, just saying, you know. So if I'm potentially maybe gonna have Carson on, you know, maybe I want to build a project with this and show him how I'm using it. Just whip something up real quick. So we'll see. You know. Anyways, Nate, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it is huge. Literally all the people I've asked to come on for an interview, I thought they were all going to say no. I'm shocked that any of them said yes. I'm just like some dude from Canada, you know, and I sword post on Twitter and stuff, and I like to do crazy things like build a video game in ZIG WebAssembly using only DOM, you know, and stuff like that. Like, who the hell wants to listen to me? But, you know, at least a few of them are saying like, yeah, man, I'll come on for an interview, even if it's like 15 minutes. Like, that's huge. Anyway, McMine, this looks awesome. This excites me again to use HTMX. The sad part is PHP. I've done too much of that and I don't want any more. Look, Mick, I take a moment and just talk to Mick for a second. I know there's like a bunch of other viewers on here, and I appreciate that. I appreciate every single one of you. I can't believe there's anybody who actually stayed to listen to me blabber, but I'm going to blabber for just a second here. Mick, I feel like your comment comes from a historical perspective of PHP. Now, historically, I agree with you. PHP has had some issues, for sure, and I'm putting it lightly. I'm trying to be nice here. PHP has not been a perfect language. I can almost guarantee you, if that's your viewpoint, if you pick up PHP 8, at least 8.1, if not the latest, and you work with Laravel, you're going to change your mind. I'm almost willing to bet money on it. As a matter of fact, Mick, I'm gonna do you one better, Mick. If you try PHP 8.1 with Laravel and you do not like it, it does not give you that sense of PHP has gotten better, I will pay for 12 months to a channel of your choice, tier 1 sub. Okay? That's a deal I'm making right now. I will pay for your sub to any channel of your choosing, tier 1, for 12 months. If you try it and you don't like it, because it's such a huge change, you should at least come out of that feeling like, okay, PHP is better. All right? All right, RVing. Laravel HTMX seems like a really good combo. I would probably add Alpine for comfort on doing some other stuff. Okay, this is the nice thing, Era. Hyperscript is what I'm... So you got to remember that it depends on your perspective, on how when you say HTMX, what do you mean? There's HTMX and there's Hyperscript. Some people say HTMX and all they mean is HTMX. Other people say HTMX and they mean HTMX plus Hyperscript. The reason why? Because the same person who made HTMX made Hyperscript. And so generally, you're going to find people who like put those two things together because they're supposed to be a match. Now, the nice thing is with Hyperscript, but more so with HTMX, it doesn't get in your way. You don't have to use Hyperscript. You can use Alpine. You can use jQuery. If you want to, you could even use React. You could use web components. You could use a mixture. So it's completely up to you. So if you feel comfy in Alpine, you can do that with HTMX, because HTMX is a limited set of, you know, it's a limited set of, I guess, functions, like interactions. HTMX generally just deals with turning things into requests, taking the result of the request, and swapping the HTML that you want with the results of that request. That's pretty much what HTMX does. Hyperscript or Alpine or jQuery or Vanilla.js or whatever adds that little layer of extra functionality, things that you want to do, like in the checkbox here, where you want to like define some light functions, you know, you want to make some changes, play around with the classes. This is where you'd want to use something like Alpine in it, and Hyperscript and all that. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, Mick, I accept the offer. I have some off days. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, Mick, like, I'm dead serious. I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to walk away being like, okay, this is better. If you don't, totally, I will live up to my end of the bargain here, okay? Yeah, so I would add Alpine to the stuff I don't need to go to the server to do. Exactly. So like this checkbox stuff, it's all front-end code, and it's really light front-end code. Literally, it's just, you know, like when you interact with it, or if you click somewhere from like one to another, like if you click on some other element and you want to ship, you want to change the status of the checkbox, you know, then you do set checked here, right? And then it just goes in and it does whatever, right? This is all front-end stuff. You want to know something cool? Something really, really cool? Let's see here. Let me see if I can get this right. HTMX server, HTMX, response? Response, I think. Trigger, here we go. Hang on, I just want to make sure I'm catching up with chat here. 3 to 4 years ago, I've written a huge project, was not happy. I've also used Laravel. Yeah, Laravel has come a long way, so use Laravel 10 and PHP 8.1. I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to see a big change. Mitch, before Laravel 7, yeah, exactly what Mitch is saying. Be pretty reticent to load multiple JS dependencies like Alpine and H, but that's just me. Look, you know, okay, one step at a time, Mitch. I'm going to answer that. So here's what we have. HTMX has this concept of returning a trigger as part of your server response. So you can have your server response trigger events that are available in your elements. So where is it? Boosted current trigger response headers. Here we go. HX trigger allows you to trigger client-side events. So if you really wanted to, okay, if you really wanted to, you can have the back end power your front end, at least in some cases, because your return, like if you do something with your checkboxes, you return a response that triggers a, let's say, a hyperscript function or an Alpine call or something like that. You could even wrap Alpine calls and hyperscript functions if you wanted to get insane, and it will do that action on the front end. Okay, that's really cool. Now, loading multiple JS dependencies, if you keep it light, it's not the end of the world. I mean, we're doing the only dependencies we have on our front end is HTMX and HyperScript. But if you use things like HTTP2, at least for your transport mechanism, and we use Cloudflare, so we do a lot of like caching on the Cloudflare side so that we can choose when we want like our staging server to be cached or our dev server to be cached or not. But our production server caches all these things for you, and it can also bundle for you. I'm pretty sure we have a bundler in Cloudflare that will take files we've defined and bundle it for you. If that's what you want to do, you don't have to do that. But you mix that in with like some Brotli compression or even just some regular gzip compression, you're going to be like way under what the Reacties do. Okay, all the React devs who use like a bazillion different libraries or like have this big massive thing, right? So, you know, it's a lot better. I guess my impression of HTMX is, if I need HyperScript or Alpine, I won't really use HTMX, but I've never used it. I do love Cloudflare. You don't need HTMX. HTMX just simplifies how it does requests, like hydrated requests, and swaps your HTML. You can do the same thing with HyperScript. Technically, you don't need HTMX if you have HyperScript. I'll show you how. And I know this is true of Alpine as well. So let's say fetch, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, look, we can do exactly what HTMX is doing for us in HyperScript, which you can also do in Alpine. You fetch a URL, and you can define things like fetch post and query parameters and all of that, all in HyperScript, and then you put the result into whatever. It is literally no different than, where did it go? Than this, right? You're not calling the boost on the form. You would just add some HyperScript and go take the action, fetch it as a get, swap the outer HTML of this form, just like that, right? So, you know, Your flavor is up to you, but this is the point. Okay, this is the point. The idea that you need to reach automatically for large frameworks that do a million things, that blow up your build process, that add complexity by claiming to deal with complexity for you. That's kind of what it's saying. Like React and other similar frameworks are saying, hey, accept our complications, but trust us, we deal with a lot of complications for you. Instead of all that, the whole point of these libraries is that you're keeping things simple. It's a simple way to view, you know. Pretty happy with Alpine, yeah. Mentioned Cloudflare, you defer loading all them scripts too. I think we do. It's been a while since I've looked at our Cloudflare structure, but I believe that's right. Crying in a huge Angular app. This sounds much better and simpler. Yeah, Mick. Not a fan of build either. Yeah, me neither, right? Like, we went from, I'm not kidding, we had a Vue front end. It took, this is not a joke. It sounds like I'm exaggerating. It took somewhere between 1 year to 1 year and 3 months to do one page in our app in Vue. I did it in 2 days with HTMX hyperscript and some Laravel fragments. And it was not an easy page to do. Now, at least a part of that might be a skill issue, but the person who was primarily directing the Vue work knew what they were doing with Vue, and it still took that long. We were fixing bugs way late in the game. The pages that we work on generally come out super solid, very few bugs. Usually the bugs are like minor UI tweaks as opposed to like, this doesn't work, or we got ourselves in a weird state. And our deployment process went from like, we deployed to prod once every 2 months to we deployed to prod several times a week, sometimes, if we're crazy, on Fridays. But fortunately, no deploy to prod today, but like yesterday I deployed a bunch to prod, and it's instant, which means that if we have a problem, we fix it instantly, unless it's like a very serious problem that we have to debug and there's time that goes into that, yada yada. Thinking of building something complex, I'd go Vue over anything else. You can still keep Vue simple, but you have to be careful. My goal is total simplicity, no build, no how. Yep. Or even with LiveWire, you don't build. Mostly build because of Tailwind. If you don't add any library to do extra stuff with JS, also the kind of library you would add for LiveWire would probably be the same you would add for HTMX to create fancy, not in the server functionality. Yeah, so here's what I don't like about LiveWire. You do have to build out your LiveWire components. There's a build process. Your library, yeah, it's Alpine.js for Blade components. There's like that mix build that you have to do for LiveWire. I'm pretty sure. I removed all that. There's no building of components. It's literally just references to the CSS, the JS, and your backend, and that's it. There's no mix, there's no webpack, there's no configuring your libraries. You just pull in the library you want. And if you really need to do a build, you only do it on prod. And it would be like a build to update Tailwind, because we still have fragments of our site that use Tailwind. And that's the only build that we really have remaining. And even that we've removed. We don't use Tailwind anymore. We just hand code our CSS with variables because it's pretty much the same damn thing. And occasionally we'll rip some CSS from Tailwind. Look, okay, this is my motto. This is what the reason why I'm doing this guy, okay? This stupid game, right? This is why I'm using ZIG, okay? And that's why I'm using WebAssembly, because I think in general, in tech, for a number of reasons, including at the developer programmer level, okay, so the individual person who's writing the code. But there are other reasons why what I'm about to say has happened, including choices made by companies, choices made by tech leads, choices made by project managers, choices even made by interview process. Like, all of this stuff has an impact. But the cycle has to break somewhere. And the cycle is this. We have so much hardware and so much room now for like just dumping stuff onto memory and being lazy about the way that we build stuff, or rushing through things because we can, because it's just something we can deal with later. It'll just work. That kind of attitude has led to much lower quality of software than at the very least when I was younger. And there are some benefits to that. Like technology has moved forward, at least partially because of our ability to lean on the benefits that we've had with like hardware, for example, but also like our tooling, our software options in general are much greater. All of these things have had an impact, and we are not building at the quality that we could be building. So when I say something like, we've removed Tailwind, you might think, you're going to handwrite all that? Tailwind does it all for you. You're going to handwrite all your CSS code? And my answer to you is yes. Do you know why? Because we should all be trying harder. I expect myself, and therefore of the people that work with me, to set a higher standard, a higher bar for what we produce. And the benefits that we get now out of trying harder and having more control, being more thoughtful, perhaps even meticulous about how we code stuff, instead of default reaching out to the shelf and saying, I'll just take this, I'll just take this, I'll just take this. That is how you break the cycle. At least that's what I think. I think that's the way to go. I think doing that is going to encourage other developers to speak up and say, hey, there's a better way to do this. I know it's all technical mumbo jumbo to some of the people I'm going to be talking to, but trust me, if we do it, we're going to produce much more solid code. And in the company I'm working for, where I'm doing all this HTMX, PHP stuff, that's what's happened. Our output has increased dramatically, first of all. Second of all, our bug count has reduced dramatically. Third of all, our ability to ship has increased dramatically. Fourth of all, our ability to create features has increased dramatically. Fifth, our ability to maintain current features has increased dramatically. And we are a team of freaking 3. Yes, we handwrite our CSS without Tailwind, because the trade-offs, if done properly and thought of properly, are worth it. So then, you know, for my stream, I'm working on this game and I'm doing ZIG compiled to WebAssembly with only DOM elements. I'm not using cheats like WebGL or WebGPU. I'm not using cheats with Canvas. Okay, I'm literally storing. Here, I'll show you just as an example. Let's see if I can just. I'm literally storing bytes per freaking pixel bytes for my images in my compiled WebAssembly. And then I'm doing, let me see here, game, I think it's game.js. Where'd it go? Here. Then I'm literally running through the buffer and I'm rendering the image. And why am I doing this? Because I want to publicly demonstrate that harder, like putting guardrails on how you achieve your goals, and looking at things from a different viewpoint other than just grab what's there, trying really freaking hard, maybe even going crazy. Like this would be this. If you look online, if you just do like a DOM element games like that, like nobody's doing this. Everybody would steer you away from doing this. But this to me speaks to something in my soul. This is how you maximize the use of your tools. You maximize the use of your hardware, and you learn a whole bunch of stuff along the way. Do I have a bazillion frameworks? Unity, Godot, Phaser, you know, like, yeah, I do. I don't want to do any of that. I want to be in control, and I want to make it my challenge to excel when I do this. So when this game is done, I hope that everyone is blown away that somebody did it this hard, this crazy, and it works as well as it does, even if it's not perfect. Anyway, that's my blab. I like the idea of looking under the hood. Yeah, Nate Lurk. Thank you, Nate. Because if you're doing stuff alone, no team, having those things help. Yeah, exactly. So here's a problem with like using React. Even I think what you're saying is valid, but sometimes you just have to ship stuff. So I do take short. Right. Here's my point. Okay. There's two issues with that. I will grant you that there are times when you have to ignore what I'm saying. That happens even to me. You just have to. You know, at the end of the day, if you're working at a business, you need to make money. And you can't sit around and, you know, sort stuff out and not make any money while you're doing that, because then who's going to have a job? Okay. So I totally get that. But I do think there's way more room for developers to speak up and provide a much more well-constructed argument for more often taking this path where you're focused more, you're more meticulous. Maybe some things are harder, but the results, the output is like way better. As programmers, developers in our companies, we have to be able to construct our arguments so that we can show the benefits and then execute on that. That's one thing. The other thing is, and I've seen this, okay, I've been part of this. A company will say, look, let's use React. Here's why. We need to move fast. If we use, say, like an obscure method or an obscure language, by comparison, it's going to be really hard to find developers to jump into our company and help us hit the ground running. That's fair. Here's what happens. Inevitably, here's what happens. You bring on a bunch of developers who know React. So you choose React. Like everyone under the sun knows at least a little bit of React, right? Like it's not hard to find React developers even at a junior level. They're breaking down your door, basically. You bring some of them on. You scale your product up. You build a whole bunch of stuff. You move real fast. You know, everything's flowing. Everyone's great. It's like foosball tables, you know, and then like a nice big kitchen, and then you have like, you know, the chef from that fancy restaurant down the road who's coming in and cooking for you every day, and like everything's going great, right? And then problems arise. You get an influx of customer feature requests, and you get an influx of customer bug claims. Now all of a sudden, somebody has to look under the hood of what you did. What are the library or libraries you used to get you there? And you're looking around at your office full of, you know, 30, 40, 50 developers all playing foosball and eating yummy food, and not a frickin' single one of them knows how to open up that library and figure out what the hell's going on. And now you're stalled heavily, because now you have to fix all these bugs that nobody knows how to fix. So you either have to A, have some people invest time in learning what the hell they just built, or B, pay someone an exorbitant amount of money to come in and help fix it for you. So there's a way to frame all of these problems at the individual level, and then there's a way to frame all of these problems when you're looking at it long term. We have to get better at talking about these things, and we have to try harder, and we have to be less lazy. Just as a general thing. I think if you ask Primogen, he would say, you know, the same thing. Now, again, granted, sometimes you have to. That's completely okay. But I think there's way more room than what we're currently using in the industry in general. Okay, is anyone sick and tired of my blabbing? Because I have been blabbing a lot, and I wanted to do some ZIG WASM while I had some time here. Aravian, agreed. I'm glad you agree, man. Even if just one person agrees, you know, that's good. Okay, well, I'll keep an eye on chat, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk briefly about like where I'm at right now, because I did some stealth work last night. Okay, I did some stealth work. Okay, super secret work. So look, what I had in my ZIG is a whole bunch of functions. I don't know if I have it in history anymore. I think I just blew away the history. In any case, I had a whole bunch of functions doing a bunch of really crappy code. And I hated it, the whole thing. I knew I was doing it wrong. And Aravian, I hope I'm saying that right. This is one of those times where I actually took some shortcuts. But I knew that I was taking a shortcut in order to get to a certain point to prove something was true or not true. So I created some huge functions. I mean, when one player attacked another player, where's my attack? Here, attack entity. Even this is still gross, but I had a function for each one of these, right? And that was really weird. I didn't like that because I didn't know if ZIG would let me do some somewhat complicated memory references to handle attacks in a single function, so that all I had to do was call one function, choose the two entities where the attack's happening, and do this, right? So I did a whole bunch of cleanup because I didn't think anybody wanted to see me do that, even in a language as cool as ZIG, on stream. So I cleaned it up, and this is way smaller. At this point, I started getting into something strange, and I'm going to talk about what happened. I have this JSON file. Okay. I hate this. Why do I hate this? You can see it holds a bunch of my game data, just a bunch of game data for now. That's fine. Okay. The problem with this is that the parser for ZIG is very strict, and it should be. When you are reading JSON data from a JSON file, you should care about how well structured that JSON data is. But it also means that something as simple as a comma at the end here will fail. Hate that. It's so stupid. I don't want to have it structured like this. Here's the other problem. That's just a minor nitpicky problem. Okay? But the real big problem that I had was figuring out, how do I load the JSON data onto memory, create a bunch of structures, like memory structures based on that JSON data, then free the JSON data. Here's why I don't like that. I have to double up on the memory, minimum. What I have to do is first load up this whole JSON file. Then I have to iterate the JSON file. Then I have to create my objects, which means I'm literally creating another set of memory based on the memory I already have in my JSON structure. Then I can't just do something simple like defer, what? I think it's gameparse.dinit. I can't do that. You want to know why? Because you literally have to iterate over your entire JSON structure in a separate free memory function, and you have to know what that structure looks like so that you can properly go through the JSON structure tree and free up the memory on each portion of the JSON file. Hell no. Hell no. I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm doing that. So I want to get rid of this. What I want to do is I want to do what I'm doing here. I want to have my data, like my game data, inside a ZIG file already. I get the same benefit of when I compile my ZIG code into WebAssembly. The code is all like, it all comes packaged in. That's what it's like embedded. Consider it like an embedded way to embed all your data into the compiled WebAssembly code. So right now I am compiling the JSON file and this file here, right? So I'm going to remove the JSON file. It will no longer be embedded. Screw JSON. Screw it. Okay? Forget that crap. Forget it. Then, this is where it gets crazy. And I'm okay with it. The whole point of this is to be crazy. The crazy part is going to be when I create an editor. I would like to be able to load my game. And just so we're clear, I'm not just going to load my game like this and then like switch to an editor mode. I'm going to have my editor as part of the game, which means modding will be nice and easy. If any of you watch Pirate Software, this is something he's talked about before. Like helping the modding community to mod your game just expands your community. You're going to be able to run this game, and if I do this right, you're going to be able at any point in the game that you're playing, go into editor mode and make an adaptation and save that adaptation to be applied at that point or at any point in the past or future of the game. Yeah, that's crazy, but I'm doing it. Okay, now here's the thing that I need to solve like pretty much right now. If you're in editor mode, you need to have a way to convert whatever data you're manipulating into one of these guys. Then you're going to have to recompile your full game when you're happy with the result. Now, what is the standard way of doing, like editing on a website and passing data around? Well, we just spent like a freaking half hour talking about, the old way of doing things, the current way of doing things with like React and Ajax requests and stuff. So yeah, JSON, right? I mean, that's how you pass data around when you're doing, APIs and all of that, or even with React. You're essentially kind of passing some form of JSON around. That means if I want to do this properly, well, if I want to do this in a way that is conducive to the current state of the landscape, let's put it that way. Let me show you. Here we go. I have a JSON to ZIG converter. So what I don't want to be doing is relying on my WebAssembly memory while I'm modifying, because I might do some insane modifications and I don't want to be reaching into WebAssembly and modifying the memory structure for every single thing I do. I could easily blow it up. What I'd rather do is keep this stuff kind of separate. So I would like to have the editor, when you go into editor mode, any manipulations you make are stored as a JSON structure. What's nice is that you can, without the stupid trailing comma crap, you can use native JavaScript functions to take objects, arrays, whatever you're manipulating. So you would, for example, take an entity out of the WebAssembly memory, you turn that into an array of integers, then you'd parse it back into JSON, and I don't have to worry about the frickin' structure of the JSON. It's just going to do it for me. And then I can take the stuff I like, convert it into a ZIG file like this guy, and compile my game with my modifications. So the entire process means that you never have to get caught. Oh, there's a comma here. Excuse me, sir. You can't have a comma here, okay? Shut up, JSON. No one likes you. Okay? No one likes you. Go home, you're drunk. Okay, you're too nerdy. You're drunk and nerdy with your trailing comma crap. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, the tough part here is knowing how to extract the memory that I want. So here's an example. It's honestly really not that tough, but I have to do it in the right way. Okay, so you see the ship. It's it's moving around, right? So let's say that I wanted to like click on the ship, which is just a DOM element, by the way, everyone. It's just a freaking DOM element. No cheats here. I'm not cheating with WebGPU, okay? So you want to take this and you want to reference the WebAssembly memory. There's a way to do that. Yeah, in here. Look at this. I love seeing this. I love seeing this. Look at all this assembly code. Feels at home. There's a way to view memory. How the hell do you do that? What is it? Memory application. Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember. ZIG WASM. There's a way to do it and I don't remember. Hey, Mango, man. I appreciate. Welcome. I appreciate it. So shipping Zig compiler with the build. You don't need, if you don't need a specific Zig compiler. You literally just need Zig. If you're a modder, just pull Zig. Just grab Zig. And then your files are all there. You compile against one file and it pulls everything in. There's your whole game. There's your modded game ready to go. Okay, so you don't need to ship the Zig compiler. Just go pull Zig from wherever. Now, right now, you might, I would have to state like 0.11 only. I can't state that you can use any version because they're breaking changes recently. They're doing a lot of different things. So stick to 0.11. That's what I'm doing. But when this is like in a full production environment, you would make those statements up front. Just go grab Zig and compile this thing. And then in your editor, so like as I was saying, you grab this entity, you go into your WebAssembly memory, which I wish I could remember how the heck there's a way to do that. Inspector Tools has it. But anyways, you'd go into your memory and you would literally say like pull the current state of this entity out of memory. And I actually already have that. Get entity 0. I have that. I'm literally pulling it out of memory, and then I'm creating a structure in JavaScript that takes the memory blocks and provides health X, Y, and I know how to structure that. So I already have this. Then I just have to convert this back. So imagine that along with this came something like, image bytes, right? Just to render the image like this thing. Each pixel as an RGBA value. And you could literally go in here and be like, like I kind of want to make like this pixel over here like one thing, right? You could load up the pixel editor like right in here, make the change, dump this back into your WebAssembly memory, and or export it as this guy when you're done. You recompiled your game, your mods are there. And if I do this correctly, I can also have like a history, like a timeline of the game process. And you should be able to go to like, think about it like, remember the Flash days when you had like the Flash, the Adobe Flash animator studio thing, and there's a timeline. I mean, like video editing software has this now. What am I talking about? I think I've gone full crazy. Anyways, you should be able to timeline specific things in your game and say, apply this change here, wherever it is. So then you can have two versions of this when you export. Version 1 applies at this timeline, version 2 applies at this timeline. So you could have like a mod that only kicks in halfway through the game if you wanted to. That is going to be hard. That's going to be really hard. But I think there's a way to do it. And part of the answer might be finite state machines. And part of the answer might be it's a tough, what would be the right word for it? It's like when you store historical immutable portions of a game and then you remove inputs that are not necessary to get to yourself from one step to the other. Or in some cases, you know that there are only a limited set of inputs and you can remove that as well. And then you just take key steps of the game and you store those as historical points. Anyways, I'm not there yet, all right? But that's the goal. All this, okay? All this. JSON trailing commas, okay? To defeat the trailing commas. Like, this is cope at a level not seen before for trailing What have you done to us, JSON? What have you created? Okay. Okay, hang on. Let me just make a little adjustment here. Hang on. I'm not happy with. There we go. That's better. All right. So yeah, that's the goal. I hope that people find it interesting. The goal is to demonstrate that it's not just possible to do extremely complicated things, but that it's actually worth it. There are actual real world benefits to doing it, and that we very much underutilize the vast amount of stuff that we have available to us. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going here. Or build your own JSON parser and tooling to do better DNIT. Okay, you know what, Mick? Okay, Mick, I don't like that kind of talk. Okay, you think I'm gonna go fix JSON's problems for it? Hell no. Hell no. That's not happening. Okay, so you know what, Mick? You know what, Mick? You get a timeout. You get a timeout, Mick. Timeout 10 minutes for that insane take. You want me to JSON parse to fix a trailing comma? No. You know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to go crazy hard, okay? And I'm going to do some crazy, insanely hard things. That's how I'm going to fix JSON trailing comma. Build my own parser? Timeout, Mick. Timeout. All right? Here. I think you've had enough, Mick. Okay, here, I'm gonna untime out you. All right? Don't do that again, Mick. Don't do that again. Build your own parser. Talk about derailing the chat, Mick. Oh, sorry, Mick. I thought that was fun. All right. Okay, so that was fun. I have to admit that was fun. In order to get to the point where I can do this crazy, insane JSON ZIG converter junk, I do have to do a few things. I have to tackle a few problems. Now, what's nice is that once we have something in ZIG that, what am I trying to say here? Once we have something exported in ZIG, okay, and it's exported like this guy, you know, all we have to do is just import it as part of our build process. And this does not need anything. I have 0 functions in here. And if I do this right, there will be 0 functions in here forever. It just stores data about, you know, game objects or whatever. So I'm really not very much concerned about the JSON data to ZIG extraction. I think that's covered. I'm more concerned about, first of all, cleaning up the code in here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I know cleanup is boring for a stream because you're all ADD riddled minds cannot stand the idea that even code needs like a janitor. Okay, so I get it. All right, I'm not going to janitor you too much, but there is some code that I want to remove. So the trick here is that there's some code that I need to remove that I don't want to remove entirely, like fill test image. What I would rather do is update the function so that, well, first of all, get rid of this to do. No, I don't want to update name references, so it's pulling from JSON. Okay, I want to get rid of the JSON, and then I want to iterate through, what would it be? Whatever this is. I want to iterate through these entity image bytes. And then I want to create the output of the buffer, essentially. And pull that into my JavaScript file on the front end, like pull it in from JavaScript, I should say, and render my test image. what I'm doing here, for the record, this test image is creating a buffer. It's creating an array, or like a, sorry, it's creating a memory block. And then later on, I pull the memory block, test image buffer. Yeah, I'm zeroing out the structure, or like the data, and then see, get test image buffer pointer. So this points to the memory address in WebAssembly that JavaScript can point to grab the data for this image. And then I get the size of the memory, because you need to know how much memory. It's going to start you off at an index, right? It's going to start you off, imagine each memory address is like a single portion of memory. It's when you accumulate a certain number of portions of that memory, starting at whatever index is here, so this function, pointer cast, and then all the way to whatever the size is, so 10, 20, 32, 4, 8, whatever it is. And then you have the whole memory structure. So that's where I want to get to. But even better than that, why do I still have this open? Who cares? Even better than that, I would like to just be able to reference this directly. I shouldn't actually need to create this buffer. I shouldn't need to do that. I should be able to simplify this code a lot and just get rid of all this junk and just literally reference the memory that already exists in my structure. How would I do that? I would have to do essentially two calls, which is the same calls that I have for my existing format. So I'm just going to go down here. So it would literally be a function to like get test memory pixel bytes, just a stupid long. This is stupid, okay? But I'm just trying to explain. So in here, I would return like a pointer cast to, what am I referencing test2 as? Current world, right? Right? Oh, me and my mouse scrolling. I'm trying to get out of the habit of doing that. And I keep doing that. And look, folks. I don't know if this is going to show up, all right? But look. I have my Kinesis keyboard. I don't think it's going to show. No, it's not going to show. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do, folks? Just so that we can have some nice, just a really nice time here. Okay, I'm going to do this. You can see everything around me and the mess that I have, right? Here. Okay, look at this. Oh, Mr. Prime would be so happy. And just for the Prime fans, that tastes like feta cheese because I'm Greek. And you know, like the good feta cheese, not like that briny, salty crap, the good feta cheese, all right? That's what it tastes like. Okay, I'm actually gonna keep my camera that way for now because you don't need to see that whole side. All right, so essentially what I want to do is current world dot, and I know I'm mixing camel case and all of that. I know, okay? Janitor Spiro, okay? He'll put on his plumber hat. I'll even switch. God, you guys are so ADD. I'll switch. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm Yoshi, okay? Because I'm gonna blip all this code. I'm gonna blip it. All right, let's keep going. So I want to point to the image bytes that I have. And then I have two options. If I want to get the size, I can either literally pass the size because I know it, or I can try to return the size like dynamically. So like get test memory pixel bytes size. Now, probably the easiest way to do that would be usize and pointer cast is probably, I think I can just do a U16. I don't remember. We'll figure that out in a second. Okay, so here's another one of my models, which sometimes people find frustrating, but I think it's actually like a good way to do development, at least sometimes. And I think Prime even says this a lot, and I'm pretty sure Pirate Software says this a lot. A good way to handle tackling, some things in your development focus is to do it imperfectly. Just assume a lot of stuff and just see if you can get something out the door and then go back and fix it afterwards, like proof of concept. And because I keep shouting him out, I'm gonna give a shout out to Pirate Software. Yeah, Mick, thanks for being here. I appreciate it, Mick. And yeah, like I said, I will keep my promise. If you try Laravel and PHP 8.1 at least, and you don't come out feeling better about PHP, 12 months sub, tier 1 to a channel of your choice, for sure. Okay, deal. Okay, so ideally what I'd like to be able to do is just like return current world entity image bytes length, something like this. Okay, and then can't remember if I have to return the pointer cast. Let me just see how I did it elsewhere. Yeah, I returned the pointer cast. Yes, of course I return a star because this is literally a pointer, so your return value is going to be reference to that. So I think I have to make just a few adjustments here. Let's do it. Let's go here. Is this an 8? It is an 8. So I can literally just go a pointer to some kind of 8 whatever, and then a pointer cast, which would be to here. And then the return on the size, it's literally just U size of whatever, and that's not going to work. Okay, now here's why that's not going to work. If I return the size of this guy at the parent level, I am not going to know how deep I should go into the nested areas. Now, what's nice here is that the nested, like these pixel RGBA values will only ever be RGBA. So I kind of don't need to know how the size of these things. Each byte is always going to be 4 elements in here. So I kind of only need to know how many bytes in total, or rather how many pixels, I guess I should say. So I don't actually know if returning the length is the right way, because it's technically an array, and I think that's how we do it. Like if I look at let's say my diff list, which it's an array list in .len. So ZIG is sometimes weird about it. Like you can return, len works for some arrays and not others. I could be wrong about that. In any case, let's try. What could we try here? You know what? Let's just try building it. Ignore the Laravel stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna go to. I think it's yeah. Super secret password. It's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 over and over again. And then I'm going to go to here, and then I'm going to try to do a build. It'll fail. Okay. Expected type U8 found struct with comp time values. Now, what's strange about this is that it only fails because I'm using this function to try and reference it. If I were to if I were to remove the function, oops, nope, I did that wrong. Let's see. There we go. Okay. If I remove this and then build it, then it builds. Right. So I think it's because of the way that I'm referencing the function itself. Now, if I wanted to prove this true, what I can do is just ignore this part because I know the size, but it's still going to error out because the error is in the way that I'm referencing the pointer to this memory block. I am officially out of my depth. Okay. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do this. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to properly return a reference. The way that I've done something similar before is I've returned a reference to the size of the array, like this guy. I think this is the right way, but I'm actually not sure, but we're going to try. So it would be here, right? Right. So first of all, it's a pointer. Second of all, the size is 4. We know that. Okay. And then third of all, we don't actually need to do a pointer cast. We literally just return the reference. Okay. Let's just see if this even builds. Nope. Expected type U8. So either now I'm stuck because there's either two problems. Either A, I'm still not referencing this correctly in ZIG. Okay, I'm still not pulling in the reference to the pointer here correctly. Or I've structured the data, I've structured this entity image bytes incorrectly, and it's only just recognizing it because I'm referencing it. Now, what I need to do is just take a second and think about this. We expected a type of U8, but we found a struct. I think I understand what's failing. I think I'm on the right track. I think it is literally because I'm saying that this needs to be an array of U8 values, but instead I'm giving it an array of U8 values. And the hint that I'm getting this from is up here. Because in here I have an array of 3 with an array of 4 with an array of 4 as U16 values. So if I'm right, then what I should be able to do is 4 and then 4. Much better. Look at that. Much better. So look, I'm not an expert at ZIG, okay? So maybe some of you are frustrated, watching me do it, but this is how I learn. So if I do that, let's just say I do that. I actually don't think this is like a good way to do it either, because I think it's going to point me to a block of memory that isn't exactly accurate, but it builds, okay? Where to go? If I then take, yeah, this guy, that also builds. Now this length I'm cool with. I think that's going to return 4. This memory pixel bytes, I don't know what it's going to return. So you know what? Let's get to it. This will be like our test area, even though kind of above is already that. So in here, what we're doing is we're telling JavaScript that it needs to define the functions that WebAssembly is exporting. So you have to define whatever functions are available in the WebAssembly code and kind of like map them on to the JavaScript world. So that's fine. So get test memory pixel bytes, right? We don't need to pass any parameters. And then it's going to be get test memory pixel bytes size. No parameters, we're cool. Now, if I go, here's the problem. Here's the problem. I have to do a really quick change in order okay, so in order to do this right, oops. No, I need to do a new thing here. Sorry guys, I just gotta, there we go. And then I can do this. Yes, I'm using PHP to run a localhost server to run my crazy ZIG WebAssembly to DOM game. Yes. Okay. Let the hate flow. I can hear the cringe. Deal with it. I will time you out if I have to. Deal with it. Okay. Now if I refresh. Noise. Now if I call. Nope. I screwed that up. Test memory. Okay. I'm curious what this is going to tell me. It should return to me some kind of like integer that points me to a block of memory. Okay, it does. I'm curious what size tells me. It says it's 4. That's what I expected. That's great. Now, there is some JS code I need. Oopsies. I pretty much want like this. So can I just return? Yeah, no, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to fiddle around with the memory here. We're going to go raw mode here. Let's just like console log it. And our memory position is going to be here. And then we're going to copy this again. Yes, there are much better ways of doing this. This is just me just banging this out. Of course. You know what I did? I'm still getting used to my Kinesis keyboard, so I'm going to have to do all of that again. That's right. That's right. All of it again, because I suck. Okay, here. There we go. Here, I'll kind of go just a little bit faster, and we'll go size. Yeah, the keyboard is throwing me for a loop. It takes a while to get used to, but anyways. All right, so okay. This is a 16 array, but I know that what I'm referencing on the inside is an 8, is uint 8. So we're going to see if this changes things. Check that out. Hey, does anyone recognize what this is? Does anyone recognize what 200, 200, 200, and 255 is? It's music to my ears. That's what it is. It's music to my ears, because what this means is that I have properly referenced the right spot and got the right array values. We be zigging. We be zigging. Okay. So now what this means is that if I want to, I could take whatever array, no, whatever pixel I want, I'm going to get these values. Okay. And it's going to be sweet. Now here, does anyone notice anything else though? Because we've run into a problem, right? And the problem, show you. The problem is that somehow, some way, somewhere over the rainbow, we have only referenced one of these. And what I would have liked to do is referenced all of them. Now there is possibly a way to do that. It might be possible for me to go plus 12 potentially. There we go. So in reality, what's happening here is that my length is returning to me the size of the outer array, but it's not returning to me the size of the outer array times the size of the inner array. I could change this. I know that a byte of pixel data is 4. It will only ever be 4. Compile. Refresh. And if I run this again without the 12, what do you think is going to happen? Check that out. Who wants to give me a job? Anybody want to give me a job? I'm zigging. Yeah. Now there's still a few other problems that I need to consider. Like, I have to make sure on the JavaScript side that I'm only using U8. And the reason why I want that is because on the ZIG side, U8 goes up to 255 in terms of numbers, which is all you need for RGBA values. That's all you need. So I can stick to U8. When I extract this data on the JavaScript side, it means I have to do it as a uint8 array, which means anytime that I use these image functions, I need to stick to uint8 on the JavaScript side. But for the most part, I'm going to want U16s for everything else. Like world data, for example, could reference like an entity exists in this coordinate, XY coordinate, and U16 gives you up to 65535, 65,535, something like that. So there's a lot more space, but it means then that I have to ensure that whenever I do my JavaScript memory blocks for world data, for example, like kind of what I do here, I'm using uint16. So I have to remember to match it. And you can prove this is true. I mean, I think I already proved it because the original version of this hacky code was just uint16. And if I run it, you know, it doesn't, what the hell is that? Right? And you could convert that if you want to. I think you can convert that. But it's a lot simpler because you know you only need uint8 just to do this. Boom. Check that out. Right? So that's kind of nice. So and now that I know that that works, what that means is I can get rid of a bunch of stuff. So now we can go into janitor mode. Let's go into janitor mode for just a little bit. Okay. So you get out. Okay. You get out. Okay. You get out. Does that feel nice, chat? Including all you people on Twitter who are watching me. Does that feel nice? Does it feel nice to remove code? Feels so good. Have you ever, tell me, have you ever had like a day where you're like, you're spending the day, you're drinking like all kinds of coffee. Like I have some, hang on, let me show you. I have like some coffee in this mug here, you know. I have some nice coffee and damn it, Yoshi's head makes me tilt my head back way more. And you're drinking like different blends, you know, different blends of coffee. And you haven't gone to the bathroom in a while. And the coffee says, I want out. And you run. And you find a toilet somewhere comfy. And you have the nicest expulsion of all that junk. And at the end, you just feel so good. Like clean, you know? Like a cleanse. That's what this is. That's what we're doing, folks. We're cleansing. Okay, you get out of here. World data, you can stay for now because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with you yet. World data can stay for now. That's it. That's it, folks. We did it. We cleaned it. Okay, not quite. Here's why. Not quite. Because we also have to get rid of it here. So I'm going to keep everything else except the test image data here. And then I'm going to go down here. Okay, now I want to keep this. I want to keep the test image because what I would like to do, yes, I would like to reference this later. I want to pull in my test image data and I want to regenerate an image based on that. So that's going to stay for now. Marsky 1984. Hey man, how's it going? It's nice to see you in chat. How are you doing, my friend? I hope you caught Tej's stream earlier. He was doing Laravel PHP. I basically helped him do everything. I mean, he would be just lost without me. I think when I joined, he was crying. You know, so I consoled him. I offered him some Laravel PHP advice. You know, I digitally wiped the tears off his eyes with Photoshop, which somehow had an actual physical impact. And then he, you know, was kind enough to raid me, and you know, it was kind of nice, right? Good. Got the kids to sleep. Caught like 5 minutes of Tej, and now I'm here. Nice. When the kids asleep, the adults will play. Does that make the adults the mice, and the kids the cats? I don't know. Okay. I'm just in the middle of cleaning up. I just want to finish doing some cleanup here because everybody's feeling nice. Everyone's feeling like the expulsion of junk from code is nice. So, okay, so I'll keep my diff list. I want to keep this test image stuff because I'm going to update it so that I actually render an image based on the bytes that I'm returning from memory. And I might want to use the I might want to use what I have here with an off-screen canvas to do it. We'll see. So I'll keep it. Marsky, what am I doing? Zig, right? Yeah. I'm literally going through some Zig code and describing how I've done some cleanup and kind of the things that I want to do. So unfortunately, you missed all the good stuff, and now you're just at the stuff where I do things. And you can, if you were to map my viewer count from the beginning when I was like blabbing about stuff and like explaining things and dropping hot takes to the point where I started actually coding and like cleaning stuff and like doing some cool Zig code, you can see like the precipitous drop. So yeah, too bad for you, Marsky. I even timed someone out for having the balls to say that if I want to not have to deal with trailing commas and JSON structures, I should write my own JSON parser. I swear, I will time MicMine. It's MicMine. He's not there, but it's Mick mine. I will time him out again the minute he comes back on any one of my streams just because he said that. Marsky, I followed, so I'll catch more in the future. I appreciate the follow. I think, you know, I don't have my alerts set up, so I think a lot of people followed, and I know Ryan gave out 5 subs, which I really appreciate, and I can see other people watching on like YouTube and X and all of that. I appreciate it all. Who on earth? Who are you people that you're so crazy that you'd be willing to jump on this stream and listen to me talk about this stuff? Like, who wants to hear me? I'm surprised, but I'm appreciative as hell. And I hope that everybody's learning something, especially from my mistakes. And I've made a few already, just on this stream. So I just hope everyone's learning something and having a bit of fun. Okay, so as I was saying, I want to keep this. We've cleared out a bunch of our functions, and what that should mean is if I haven't screwed this up too royally, okay? If I haven't screwed this up too royally, I can build, no errors, I can reload, and everything should run the same. Nice. And you can see that we have blocking too. Red is another entity. Blue is just a blocked square. So I'm doing collision checks here. You can see nothing changes, so that's all working too. It's nice. What did McMine say to deserve the timeout? Mitchie, he said I need to build. So I was explaining, I don't want to be using JSON for my data, for my game data. I don't want to be importing it into my ZIG compile. I don't care for this. It's terrible. Because you can literally get destroyed by that. Destruction. By a comma. So I'm like, I explained, like, I'm going to have, like, when you go into editor mode, you're going to, you're going to manipulate objects in JSON because it just kind of works when you're in the browser. And you have nice ways of converting JSON to like actual objects and then converting them back, and you don't have to worry a thing about its structure. But then I'm going to convert that JSON to ZIG files, which are going to get imported into your compile time, and then you can have updated data. So this JSON will get converted to this, right? All because of trailing commas. And so Mick decided, in his infinite wisdom, he would recommend to me that I build out a JSON parser instead, my own, to overcome the issues of trailing commas. No. And I have half a mind to punish other people on chat for that suggestion. I have half a mind. Right? So be careful. Don't test me. I'm not going to solve JSON's problems for it. Okay? JSON can go suck an ice cube. Jeez. Anyway. Moving on. Okay, so that compiled. Yeah. And it's working. I didn't create any issues. I didn't remove something stupid. WASD. Oh, that feels nice. I don't know if it comes across on stream, but to me, there is just a touch of lag. Like, it might just be me, but from when I press the key to when the thing moves, there's just like this 100 millisecond delay. And I think I know what it is. I think somewhere in my, where's my DOM? Somewhere in here, when I'm iterating through request animation frame and re-rendering the things that I need to re-render, I'm probably not being efficient with it because I'm probably going through everything. And like iterating through the whole thing and recreating everything. And it probably is not very efficient. It's probably creating a bit of lag. But that is why I have already thought ahead, because I am a genius. And I have a diff list. And the diff list adds to its array. It is an array. It will add to its array any entity or object that I want as a reference. That means, oh, I still have some cleanup down here. I'll do that in a second. That means that I can do something like, where is it? Move entity, yeah? Let me see, how on earth do I append to a diff list again? How do I do it? I've totally forgotten. Oh, this is embarrassing. How on earth do I add to a diff list? Add entity index to diff list. Yeah, so it'd be like, oh, damn it. I'm going to have to go look this up. Where is my ZIG thing here? No, get rid of that. Whatever. Yeah, we already did the tech debt. Right, that's the cool Japanese. Here we go. All right. Append. It's literally just append. It's literally just append. I think just for that, I'm not going to time anybody out for mixed comment, okay? I feel so stupid about that. We're okay. Okay, Mick, you and I are okay. I know you're not on chat anymore. I know you're not watching anymore, but we're okay, Mick. Okay. Maybe I'll even do the JSON parser. No, I won't. Marsky. So now the important part. What keyboard are you using? Yeah, you missed that. That still tastes like feta cheese, but with a little bit more brine. So it's a little bit saltier. Have to admit, it was a little bit saltier. But it's still good feta cheese because it's a Kinesis keyboard. Thank you, Prime. Thank you. Yeah, I'm one of those, yeah. Okay, so as I was trying to explain here, we're keyboard warriors. Decided to interrupt my stream. So yeah, I have a diff list. So I've already thought ahead about this, right? I don't want to be iterating through the, whoops. Oh my goodness. What am I doing? I don't want to be iterating through every single thing, every single element, every single entity, etc. I might actually, yeah. So I even have this. I even have it already in here. So anytime that I move an entity, it's going to add, it's going to add the entity to the diff list. Then I'm going to be able to pull the diff list just like this guy right here, nice and easy. Pull the diff list. Where'd you go, diff list? Here, right? Here's, get my diff list here. And then in here, I get the diff list length, and I can literally go through every item in my diff list and re-render only that item. I know that something's happened to it. And I can choose to add my entities or whatever I want to the diff list, depending on whatever situation I care for. So, maybe sometimes I want to have it when there's like an attack made. Maybe sometimes I want to have it, I'm trying to think here. When I load up a new world, I mean, I'm drawing a blank on situations right now, but there are plenty of situations where I want this diff list. So I've already done that, which is nice. Looks like an Ubuntu terminal. Yeah, I'm running, oh man, I'm going to get so much flack for this. I'm running WSL, Windows Subsystem Linux. Okay. So this is Windows. And it's literally running Ubuntu underneath. Ubuntu, Ubuntu, however you want to pronounce that. And I just code in here, but I get the benefits of having whatever comes with Windows that you might not get, anywhere else. And to some degree, I have to do it for some of my work. I have to have Windows. But this gives me the best of both worlds. And it's pretty nice because it runs alongside Windows. It's not a virtual machine, like it kind of is. But it's literally like, it's as if you somehow installed it as right next to Windows. They're running at the same time. So it's really nice. I have a MacBook Pro and a Windows machine. You are crazy. You are crazy. And I like it. Okay. One other thing that I did last night for cleanup, so I didn't have to do this on stream. I have an enum structure of errors. And I return the enum structure in here. So I change my result output, like blocked collision, depending on what's happening during my move entity function. And I can show you kind of how that looks like. It's kind of nice because it means that I can kind of like have an enum structure of my error outputs. I could do this for success. I could do this for like other things. And each enum will have a ZIG, like a readable ZIG reference, because you can see this is like pretty readable, right? None, invalid type, empty array, all that stuff, right? That's nice. So if you were ever to swap out your renderer, so instead of using this with JS and DOM, and you wanted to go with like, GL or Raylib or whatever, you can just look in the code to see what your return values are. And you can see in here, if I do blocked, I should get 4 down here. 4 blocked. So that's kind of nice. Okay, hang on. Let me see what's going on with chat. It's flying. I'm using Linux since 2003. I used to run Arc. Now I'm married, so I don't. Yeah, I'm married to you. Nobody would understand. Nobody would understand. Okay, you wouldn't understand. Or even him going soon, but I think in line with what you said before, you might like this framework I saw on Twitter. Let me see. Let me see what you got. What do you got here? Holy crap, I have notifications. Chubby PHP. I mean, is this really Chubby PHP? You're gonna start me off with this and then like make some claim that it's like a minimal thing? Aravian, what are you doing, man? Let's see. Minimal performant middleware, PSR 15. Okay, microframework. As little complexity as possible. Chubby, as little complex. You know what I feel like this is? I feel like this is a trap. Okay, I feel like this is what happens on Tinder or like Match or whatever those dating apps are. That's what this feels like. Or like up front, you're like, yeah, man, I'm a catch. Okay, what the hell is going on here? Performant. You've got base coding standard, logger, HTTP handlers. Okay. Request for response with middlewares. You have your roots. It's pulling in some stuff from PSR. That's kind of nice, yeah. Let's see what we got. Usage, strict types. So you're going to pull in all these, and then you're going to go, here's a new app. Here's a router. It's going to match these things, and then you're going to do a body, write hello. Then you're going to emit it as a server request. Not bad, not bad. There actually is not a lot to this. I would be interested in trying this out. Interesting. It's got swool and interesting. Interesting. Okay. Like, what's this skeleton? Please just take me. Please just take. Oh my God! I'm gonna blind everyone. Okay, chubby. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see. I don't know. Let's go in here. Let's have a look. Container, web. I want to see what some of your requests are. It's a ping request. Okay. There are probably, I can already tell, there are probably some things that you get from Laravel that are nice, like wrappers to do things for you, maybe just a little bit. But if you are looking for something that's simpler so that you're in more control, this is nice. Yeah, this feels nice. There's not a lot of hand holding here. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to check this out later. And I'm going to think about whether I want, these are just, yeah, these are factories. Got it. If I want to maybe try and like build something with this. This is probably just a straightforward index file, ain't it? Yeah, look at that. It's just super straightforward. I like it. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, okay, Marsky, let's be honest, since we're running a language on servers now, that wasn't supposed to be a language and only serves to animate some things. I've seen worse. I agree. I have seen worse too. Here's something that I think I just feel like is more crazy than not. Thank you, Raven. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for being here. I can't see who's on Twitter, but all the people on Twitter and the one person who came and left on YouTube. I appreciate it too. I wonder, here's something that I think is yeah, React server components suck. Yes, I did search for that. I wonder if I can find a good example. I wonder if I can find a good example. Let me see if I can find like React server components with like a query. Is there one that has a query in it? Come on. Come on, just give me an example. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This to me is like, hey friend, I hope I didn't startle you. Can I let you know about my newsletter? No, thank you. It's not quite good enough of an example, but it's close. You can see what they did here. Here, I'll look. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? What exactly are you doing here? Maybe this is just me. Maybe it's a scale issue. Maybe, you know, I'm quite open to that possibility. But the idea that you're so desperate to use React that you need to bring the back end to the front end and the front end to the back end so that it's all one thing. And you're going to connect to your DB and you're going to run a query and then you're going to map it out. And, you know, this might not be exactly what's going on, but this is definitely something that was, let's say, thought of as a thought experiment of what a server component could look like. The idea that someone thought of it to begin with is crazy to me. As someone who's been using React for many years, this code looked absolutely wild to me at first. You think? But wait, my instincts screamed. Function components can't be asynchronous. Is really that's your problem? That's what your instinct said. Your first problem is function components can't be asynchronous, and that's why you looked at this monstrosity and thought, wait, this doesn't seem right. Are you serious right now? And we're not allowed to have side effects directly in the renders like that. I'm sorry, but that's not the real problem here. The key thing to understand is this: server components never re-render. They run once on the server to generate the UI. The rendered value is sent to the client and locked in place. As far as React is concerned, this output is immutable and will never change. Yeah, that's not the issue here. That's really not the issue here. The issue here is, well, I mean, like, where do I start? But here's one just as an example. React is not meant, it's not meant to be a back-end service like this. It's not meant for it. Yes, you can make it do this, but it's not meant for it. And what's inevitably going to happen is someone's going to take a simple example like this guy and go, wow, cool. Especially Reacties, you know, holding on to their their worldview that React is the only way to do things. Like, especially those kinds of people. There's not a lot of them, but I've met a few. They're going to look at this and go, finally we can all get married and be happy. No. Once the complexity scales on this, you're going to have to start building out tools that already exist. Do you really want to be building those in React? Do you really want to be building complicated DB structure handling in React? I don't get it. I don't understand this. And that's just one of a few problems that I can think of with this. Call me crazy here, but I also think on top of that, when you start blurring the line between what should be a back-end process and what should be a front-end process, and you start saying now you can do it all in one package, you are not taking into consideration what happens when two or more different experts have a differing opinion on what this should look like. This is insanity to me. This is like we've jumped the shark and we've gone crazy. And the fact that anybody can look at this and their first thought is this stuff and not the other problems down the road that you're going to have with this, if not upfront, is mind-boggling to me. That's just me. And I've talked, not only have I talked with Theo on X before, I've listened too, and I ask questions and he's asked questions. I can see some cases where this kind of thing might be okay, but I think this causes more problems than it solves. And this is one of the kickers that got me started on the idea that this is wrong. The amount of struggle there has been to explain what's going on here to other developers in the community in general, it's been high. And I've seen like really good communicators like Theo and others who have been on spaces, who have been on streams, etc., tried to explain what's going on with React server components, and even they admit that they don't get it all right and that there's stuff they don't know. That is a huge red flag for me. If you're having that much trouble explaining what's going on here, that might be a hint, just a hint. Anyways, committing a crime against humanity, yeah. It's honestly devs being bad, yeah. Let me see what you're sending me here, Marsky, okay? What are you sending me here? Oh, this. I've seen this. I've seen this. Why? Why are people doing this? Why are people doing this? Why are you taking... This is exactly the same thing as when you're doing... the Electron stuff with Node. That's exactly what's going on here. Like, uh, why? I don't get this. Like, I kind of get it. I understand why. And to be fair to Electron and things like that, it's Electron has kind of like paved the way for things to be created that probably wouldn't otherwise be created. It does not mean it was a good idea. Okay? The fact that it's been used in the way that it's been used and has opened the doors that it has does not in and of itself mean that that was a good idea. But unfortunately, I must agree, it's the best we have right now. Now I'm hoping that WebAssembly opens the door to something better. That's kind of why I'm building my game in WebAssembly, because I'm hoping that it opens the door to not having to do these weird workarounds to get cross-platform compatibility stuff. Marsky, yeah, I think it's cool. And B, WTF are we doing? I agree. I see Ubinatus on my Twitter chat because I just opened it up on the side there. I guess Restream doesn't pull in all my chats, but Ubinatus, if you're still there, hopefully I've explained what I'm doing, building a game in ZIG and WebAssembly. Anyways, holy cow, that was quite the derailment. And I think it all started with Chubby Slim PHP. What a nerd snipe. What a nerd snipe. Damn. I was all up in here like explaining cool things, like, you know, how we cleaned up a bunch of code. We were crapping out code. We were literally like secreting code. Okay, we were getting rid of it. We were feeling clean. Things were looking better. We were making improvements. Then I got snurred. I can't even talk. I got nerd sniped by Chubby Fat PHP, which is slim. That's its name. I'm not calling anybody that. That's its name. It's literally Chubby PHP, the slimmest PHP you've ever seen. Nerd snipe. Anyways, I'm going to continue on for a little bit here. So, we still have, we actually have just like a little more. There's a little nugget. There's a little turd nugget hanging around in here. We don't need this. Okay. Done. We don't need this. Done. Let me just make sure I don't have like static dumps. Oh yeah, I do up here. But, oh, we don't need this either. We don't, oh, this feels good. Done. Look at that. Done. Done. Huh? Oh, that's way better. Now this needs cleanup. This is ugly. This is not good, but I will clean this up. And if I go here, yep, looks good. If I compile, oh no, what have I done? What have I done? Expected type expression, found whatever. I've done something wrong. I have removed too much, I'm pretty sure. What did I do wrong here? If I put this back, will it, is this? What? Now I'm confused. Let's say I put this back. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, because I'm not using this right. I'm not using this right. It wants an I-32 and I'm not giving it an I-32 because I was doing some demo stuff and then I left it there because I'm a fool. Yeah. This was just a proof of concept. It was not a proof of concept. I have screwed something up. I have screwed something up so bad and I don't even know what it is. Marsky, I honestly think other frameworks are, I don't want to say useless, but since you can just compose or require all the stuff from Symfony into the smallest possible thing you could, Why are we still making micro frameworks? I don't know why we're making micro frameworks. I really don't. It's odd to me too. I don't get it. But hold. I have to see what the heck I did wrong. This was not giving me an error before. How far back do I have to go before this thing stops giving me an error? What the heck? Okay. One step at a time. One step at a time. All right. This is okay. I mean, does this? Really? If I get rid of this, what happens? Okay, we're still good. We're still good. Yeah, it's all good. Now, if I get rid of this, what happens? Holy crap. Did that, for some reason, that compiles way faster. Did I just 10x this by accident? What I really should be saying is I'm a 10x engineer. And this is just a natural course of life for me, that I just make everything go faster. Look at that. Look at how fast that was. Yeah, now we're back to... What the hell? That was strange. That was so strange. I don't know, man. That was really weird. Maybe I caught some weird ZIG compiler bug, but that compiles now, and it compiles fast. And it's because I moved the JSON out of here. That's why. That's exactly why it compiles so fast now. I removed the JSON out of this. So that's nice. If I really wanted to be crazy and make this work, I can just cast this as what, I32, I think. Yeah, it's I32. As I32 and cast. Let's see if this compiles. What did I do? Oh, not enough brackets. That would help. Try catch if. Do you really want me to do a try catch if? Really? Like, yeah. I don't know. I mean, that does work. It would be unreachable. I guess I should return like a value or something. But anyways, we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Has anything broken? It has not. We're zigging, folks. We're zigging and zagging. Now, if I want to, what would be left, right? Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Up, down. Yeah. So my input events are mapped to the primary entity, which is the ship. But yeah, so now I have such a vast array of things that I have to try and figure out. This is where you can get caught in paralysis analysis. Analysis paralysis. I didn't say that right. You know why? My mind is still reeling from the fact that somebody suggested that I should write my own JSON parser. Unbelievable. How dare you? Okay. You've caused me emotional damage. Okay, so here's something that I had working that's no longer working. See how I'm resizing? Right? Because here's my thought. We're going to render the world, right? We're going to render the world. We're going to center the world based on whether we have enough room. Like if the world is smaller than the viewport, we center it. If the world is bigger than the viewport, then just take up the viewport. If you wanted to go mobile mode, you can, right? So on mobile, it might look something more like this, where you only have a few like grids, right, available, and you're just manipulating the viewport and rendering what you can see within those bounds. What I used to have, see how when I reload, it will center? This used to be automatic. It does it when I reload. It does not do it when I resize. And what I know is that my resize is called. So I know I've got the right event listener, but I've done something. I've screwed something up somewhere in my resize. Here, size view. And I think it has something to do with my world render. I'm not 100% sure. If I look at size view, all it's doing is it's literally getting the, holy crap, this is bad code. I've commented out so much stuff and left it in there. This is literally pulling in the width and height of the current like browser view. I'm pulling in the scale, which is a CSS property, so that I can change the scale. So if I want to do like 32 pixels, or I want to scale this down to like 16 pixels, so 16 by 16 or 32 by 32 or whatever the case is, I can adjust my scale. And then I take the full width, full height by its scale, determine how many grids I'm going to render. I'm going to add a bit of padding so that when I render the edges of the view that holds all the grids, there's some padding in it. And then I just do that. And I think what I'm missing here is I have size view, but I don't actually have render world. I don't think I have this. And I think the problem then becomes that even though I'm re-rendering the view, I'm not re-rendering the world. So maybe the solution is just add DOM render world. I mean, this might blow up in my face, but let's just see. Okay, so the problem is that it's erroring out at render world size, but okay, let's see if we can fix that error. Null. Cannot read properties of null. No, because why? Is it because game has not initialized? I don't get this. I have put myself into a very weird position, and I have to sort out get current world size. Am I not doing that? That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm getting the current world size. Yeah. Everything's good. Everything's good. And then somehow or another, cannot read properties of null. You know what's weird? It's rendering the size. Oh no, that's the resize. That's the resize. Got it. Resize called, yeah. Let me, I don't even know if this is running. I don't know, whatever. Poops, who cares? Oh, really? Really? This keyboard is too good. Look at that. I'm getting all kinds of poops. I'm getting all kinds of poops. But it's not resizing the world. Or sorry, recentering the world. It's not recentering it. And I don't think recentering it comes from here. I think it literally comes from the init game. I'm pretty sure it comes from init game. Do I have to... This is going to be so weird. I swear. I actually don't even know if I need size view because I think init game has size view. It does. Yep, look at that. Okay, we got it. So that is super imperfect and super hacky. But we have proven that it's got something to do with right here. And nope, sorry, right here. So probably what I have to do is I have to extract like pretty much this stuff into its own function and then call that function. Maybe. Honestly, I think what's throwing me off here is naming. So I've kind of like put myself in this weird place where I've named something that like implies that that the function should be doing something specific, and it's not. Instead, it's doing something that it's doing a subset of what it should be doing. So init game is supposed to like initialize your world and your grid and render everything and set some game data and, you know, things like that. And it's to a degree, it's doing that. But in reality, this functionality is not just part of init game. It should be like its own reanimate or re-render, you know, function. It's kind of its own thing. And it feels dirty to write init game as part of a resize observer, but that's because all init game currently does is the stuff that should be done during resize. So I have cleanup to do there too. I have so much cleanup. Who wants to watch me be a janitor for this code? Probably no one. Probably no. All you want to do is see me play the damn game. Right? So here we go. We're gonna play the game. Oh no, what happened here? What have I done? Oh, that's not good. That is very much not good. Does that happen anywhere else? No. I have locked? Yeah. I can't even, like, it won't even let me scroll proper anymore. Wow, so somehow I have locked, where's my poops? Where are all the poops? I've somehow locked render world into an infinite loop. So this is probably telling me that the resize observer maybe is running like way too much. I'm not sure maybe if it's a quirk or something or if I'm doing it wrong, but that is a problem. You know what? I wonder what happens if I take it out and I go back in here and I go dom dot what? Resize dom dot size view. I think that's what I had before. Right? I'm pretty sure. And then if I just comment this out, okay, refresh. Do we still? Yeah, no. What? Oh, you know what? I know exactly what happened. This isn't a browser quirk. It's not a browser quirk at all. It's not a bug. It's a Spiro doesn't know what he's doing. Of course I should be seeing this. I'll give you a hint. Request animation frame. It's supposed to do this. Sometimes. Okay, well, that's fine. We know this is cool. And that means then that if I want to keep this working the way that I expect it to work, then I just put back init game, and I can just add a to-do here. Clean this up later. Init game, not a good function for this. Cannot spell. Okay, so back to this, which means then I can resize. Yeah, look at that. Huh? Isn't that nice? So now if you're going to open this up on, well, here, right? If you're going to open this up on mobile, let's pick iPad mini, sure, right? So here's an iPad mini. Then you switch it to landscape mode or portrait mode. It don't matter. Let's pick let's go with the S20 Ultra. Does not matter. The world will stay contained to the view, which means on mobile, it should work quite nicely. The other thing that I have is a menu. I know it doesn't look like it, but that's why it's white and a little bit opaque. This is going to be where I put menu items or even like chat stuff. So it could be something like, I don't know, like NPC. Yeah, you've entered the wrong bar, buddy. Bucko. Okay, Bucko. Do that, right? And so here, let me go back. Oh, I put this in exactly the wrong place. Get rid of the stats. So here you can see, you know, it can hold whatever I want. I also have side menus somewhere, like they come up. You can specify the grid. Like you can say take up a 4x4 square on the top right, on the bottom left, whatever it is, and it will just place the menu item over top of everything else where it's positioned and with the size that you provide for it. So I've already got like scaffolding for a menu system, chat system, all of that. And, you know, I just have to make it like, you know, I have to style it nicely. I don't know, 32 pixels and like, what, font family. Do we have anything like really just particularly icky? Just to make everyone feel a little icky? Sure, Fang Song. Huh? And then like, oh wait, like bold, right? So something like that. And then like some padding, like, you know, whatever, right? And then you could put like the character's face on the side, like on the left-hand side, and you know, you can do the whole 2D Super Nintendo kind of like style here, but it's all DOM. And that's the nice thing about this, is that because it's DOM, it lends itself well to these kinds of UI structures, because these are problems that have been solved in HTML DOM land for a long time, and you can just use basic DOM to create your certain aspects of your UI elements really, really easily. And now, if we go back to the mobile view and you look at how it, how about that? And you can also see that because I've set the top menu to take up to go full width, but only take up 2 rows. I think I've set that somewhere. It's going to do that no matter what the size is. Which means that I can define different kinds of sizes for my menu items, saying something like, if you're in mobile view or you're in this particular kind of like breakpoint in CSS, adjust your size, adjust your position, adjust your width, all of that. Come on, that's nice. So you can play this game on your mobile, and it's just going to, you know, resize and re-render really fast. No canvas, no GPU, WebGL, just straight up DOM and WebAssembly. How nice is that? Now let me see where the top menu is here. Yeah. Scaled size. I'm literally just using my scaled size CSS variable and defining how many rows. That's it. That's my height. That stays consistent. So anytime that this sizing changes because of the viewport, it's just going to be consistent. You can see scale, size. And my scaled size is size times scale, and my scaled size pixels is scaled size times a pixel. Boom. That's how you do it. This is hard mode. But you can do it. So I think I'm gonna call it there for now, because how long have I been streaming for? I don't even know. I don't even know how long I've been streaming for. Let me see. 2.5 hours. I mean, that's not bad, honestly. It's honestly not bad. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there. I have some stuff I need to do. But this is probably gonna be my last stream for the year. If anybody cares. I appreciate everybody on Twitch who came. Ryan, Mango, Aravian, Marsky, Tej for the raid. You know, everybody else. I got some people I know followed, which I don't have proper alerts set up for. That's something I should work on probably today. I had one solitary viewer on YouTube, whoever you are, YouTube viewer. My hat's off to you. With my messy hair, but my hat's off to you. Okay, thank you. Thank you, my one YouTube viewer, for being one YouTube viewer. And I see on X, I've got like at least, it fluctuates somewhere between 6 to a dozen viewers. Thank you. I don't know who you all are. I probably will once I see the notifications for like anybody who liked it. Thank you all. I'm surprised even one single person wants to watch me do this insane stuff that people wouldn't normally do. And I hope that everybody's learning something from it. That's the goal. And I know I'm having fun. And at the end of it, we're going to get a game out of this that everyone can play for free forever. You can mod however you like. You can have fun with the game. I'll even do some light multiplayer on the browser with WebAssembly. I'm not going to give away my secret how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that. So you can play with your friends and all that. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Watch out for me next year. I've got some interviews lined up, and it's going to be pretty epic. People actually want me to ask them questions. So that's awesome. Okay, thanks again, everyone. I'm going to stop streaming now. I'm going to go do stuff. I hope you all have a great day. Have great holidays. Stay safe, everybody. And again, I appreciate all of you, all the follows, all the likes, everything. Peace out.